Ladies and gentlemen of the crypto space, we're live on a Friday, October 18th at 11:31 a.m. Good morning. Hello, everyone, on this unfortunate, from a Tapioca perspective, that's quite disappointing to say the least. Um, what more can be said about that? Serenity now, people. Can't do anything about it. Hopefully, folks did not over position. I myself certainly have taken a notable loss from a a market value, fair market value perspective, as compared to an investment perspective. Albeit, if you consider from the investment perspective, all right, what is it's a nominal loss. Losses are losses. I would assume that it wasn't most people's only capital allocation, of which there's great reason to be excited about exactly what we're looking at on the screen right now. Bitcoin 68.7. This is a structural breakout. No other way to describe it. So if it goes even higher to like 70, that is certainly a structural breakout. But even at here, this is a structural breakout. This is a higher, larger wick than even this structural break back here, but maybe that wasn't a structural break. Yeah, that certainly was. I don't know. There's just a couple of touch points in here, and this is probably a weak expression of a technical lower high trend. I don't know, but it's decent. And if this continues, that would be supportive of potential break of the lower high trend, and we might see higher highs, and that would be very nice. Um, Everything else that I follow from a crypto perspective is lackluster compared to Bitcoin. Notice Bitcoin is now above 59%. Oh man, Ben was loving it yesterday, seeing Bitcoin at 59%. Now it's at 59.07. So Ben's like, oh, look at that. Bitcoin dominance go. That's cool. I mean, it is what it is. There's been a lot of touch points on this from a rising wedge standpoint. One, two, three, maybe that is three or four. Some good attempts, suppression or expression of a resistance on the 200 on the weekly. This will fall. Always does. Nothing else in crypto markets really catches my eye other than the investments that we've talked about of late. Gold 27.15. Holy crap. And well, this explains a lot of volatility. 122 still on the move indicator with the 10-year remaining relatively strongly above 4%, which is crazy to see. We could look at some analytics as we go through some commentary. Critical mass, unfortunate, yes. Radiant as well, and that was a bigger number. Tapioca technically didn't launch, so it was a relatively small number in comparison. Cloudflare, Cloud Llama, Basket, Ruga, Radiant, different hack. Good morning, Cap. Good morning, Cap. Yeah, so that's where we're at. We're all kind of licking our wounds, so to speak. Base is absolutely ferocious with regard to volume lately. Absolutely insane volume, 30% week over week. What are people trading? All right, fine. Maybe it's the capital moving from Coinbase, centralized exchange, to Aerodrome, base chain, decentralized exchange. Is that really what we're seeing play out? All right, fine. That's a lot of trading. Trading. I mean, literally, how many trades do you guys do on a daily basis? What the heck is going on? I literally make well Thursdays. I obviously liquidate revenues and cash flows. But other than that, shit. I guess people do trade a lot. That's a lot of transaction fees that Base is making from their centralized product, less from their decentralized product. But yeah, that adds up on Aerodrome, being that that's the core of the exchange infrastructure on Base Chain. Teddy, FOMO 3D is a pump fund fork given 90%, 95% rev share. That's backed by Joe McCann. Cube Exchange can be worth checking out. I have absolutely no additional capital to invest in these markets. I'm okay with that. I'm set for this quote unquote bull cycle. 68,657. Today is Friday. It'd be nice to see this breakout into this evening, and then we see a continuation over the weekend. It'd be nice to see that kind of positive market activity for the first time in forever, for some years at this point. Albeit it's been pretty bullish since November 22. And then obviously it got weird in January of this year. And it got weird. That's like 40 to 70. That's a massive, massive increase. Um, I find this still going down. I guess they're revaluing their equity. Thanks, thing. Look at that thing. I mean, it's not, it's 2 years, 3 years. Last time we were above the 200 SMA on the weekly. So we just got rejected. But this could be early signs of look double bottom, or at least previous resistance being broken and tested for support. But these are resistances failing. Breakdown, breakdown. I'll push up and then the push through. Push through the second moving average. This is quite consistent with potential bottoming pattern all the way at the top. Absolutely wild to look at. DCA man, good morning, Cap. Sad news with Tapioca. Yes, indeed. Very unfortunate. Serenity now can't do anything about it. Big hit for me as well. Poop man, am I missing something? But what is the point of hack besides to terrorize? How do you get stables off chain without being compromised yourself? You don't. The odds are you don't. Good point, Gabrielle. Um, Not necessarily. They have maybe half of that amount of capital sitting in treasury from what I saw. And there's all these deals, arrangements, plans, policies, procedures that are enactable, payback periods. I don't know. I have no idea. They'll do what they're going to do. And there's no reason any of us, there's not enough information for any of us to literally say anything. Technically, anything can be done. Hope that helps. Go back to Bitcoin, 68.7. I th- yeah, got a feeling it's going to be an interesting weekend. Let's go over to dollars. Let's see how the interest rate is holding up on DeFi money. 30%. That's pretty cool. What do you say, folks? What do you say? Percent is greater than the risk-free rate of return. The risk-free rate of return is 5%. Isn't that fascinating? So this is a very important protocol to me, and CRV USD as well, because these are the only dollar liability printers that are completely secured by interest rates. Um, and that's a big deal in my opinion. Quite fond of the architectures. I think they're new and they stand out. They're different compared to other models. That's something. Not only am I keeping an eye on, I'm actively participating in. Let's see what these points end up becoming. It's up to me. I'm going to hit this point system pretty damn hard, and hopefully it doesn't blow up like every other damn protocol in this space of late. Oh God, I can't look at things like that. Look at that murder. A murder was committed. They killed the baby. They killed the baby. Hey, Johnny. Horrible. Oh, what a shame. All right. There's nothing you could judge until we hear more information. So don't drive yourself nuts, please. Dystopian. Good morning, Cap. Love watching you and Ben, probably the only two YouTube crypto channels I keep up with these days. Yeah, everything else is an insane mosh pit of speculation, and I have no idea what's going on. Meanwhile, that's really the humblest thing to say is I have no idea what's going on, but oh my, Bitcoin dominance at 59.09%. Could easily be blow off top territory. Let's go to the monthly. It's been a very long consolidation to the upside. For instance, here's the 100, 200 style. Huh. Yeah, it's the 100. 100 on the monthly Bitcoin dominance push below. Yeah, let's see if it holds. And it'll fall back below, and there you go. You have your Bitcoin depreciation. Everything else basically appreciates, and that's the way that works. If we go over to not others, total three, like stablecoin sit rep, so to speak. Hang sag, resistance, resistance. China's going to do something. China has to do something. Otherwise, this thing is not looking pretty at all. Not only a double up, but just resistance. No horrible. 30%. I just wanted to refresh that one. Close disaster with Tapioca. This is basically dead in the water. I removed all that capital, threw it into spot. It's irrelevant. The amount I had compared to what was vesting from the seed round, I will be monitoring to see what the heck goes down in Discord because that is very important to my interest and how that plays out. Let's go back over here. Um, Nothing to write home about going on in Linnea or Mantle. Obviously, optimism is very hot, especially with with base chain, and that's just something to take into account when engaging in activity on those markets. Um, Not necessarily a bad thing. Anywho, Sir Joe, present. How are you? Much a pleasure. Much a pleasure. Well, I missed a stable coin. I missed a stable coin yesterday. I wanted to talk about one. Forget which one it was. Shows that it wasn't one of the big ones or one that was extremely important if I can't remember it at all. Um, Bridges, AWA. Love this thing. This thing is very useful. I've been slowly just migrating capital to optimism. Interestingly enough, when the rollups first came out, I was a little hesitant. I was much more hesitant of optimism as compared to Arbitrum. But nowadays, it's pretty much a balanced exposure to both optimism and arbitrum. It's not like I really even favor one versus the other. Even if one's lagging marginally from a technological standpoint, it's still a heck of a protocol and probably a week to deploying features to establish parity because that's obviously what NASA does. Oh my. Oh my. Okay. Well, that was an interesting thought. They need some parity between the chains, and they're going to have them. I like what I'm seeing between Arbitrum and Optimism. I like the way it's expanding. I like the super chain narrative. Um, what more can I talk about on the topic that I haven't beaten with a dead horse at this point? If you guys have any questions, if you're on X or on YouTube, please feel free to ask away. I'm more than happy to talk about anything on your mind. And anything else in Britain that I could talk about? No. It was the only thing that's interesting there. Stargate's playing a little catch up, in my opinion, obviously with the V2 rollout, strong as ever, but needs market activity for some sort of appreciation there from an investment standpoint. Wow, 68.8. Okay. This might be a nice weekend. I mean, China was rolling out some stimmy, I believe, this morning. They rolled out a facility for creditors looking to support equities. It's obviously rolling over, and that's the whole point. All this liquidity rolls over into everything, and it'll roll over into the crypto markets, just like every other market. 2716 on gold, and Bitcoin is pushing 68.8. Quite remarkable technical specs going on. Oil also rolling over. Wow. Oil is obviously one of the strongest contributors to consumer price inflation. And so when it comes down, it's disinflationary. It's a big deal. And it's really expressive of either disinflation or straight on deflation in an economic system. Demand for oil, because we all know that demand for oil, just like demand for currency, goes up and to the right. So the only thing that really drives short-term demand for energy down is a significant retreat in economic activity, um, combined with a excessive production. So that means it's a mismatch between supply and demand, obviously, but it's a mismatch in policy from the OPEC countries, um, where they maybe over expected what the global economy's demand would be. Anywho, I think that covers oil. Dollar 1035. We are at a monthly time frame. Okay, okay, okay. It pushed all the way up to 1035, but from a monthly perspective, we're hitting resistance on the 10 and looks like a little short of the time weighted average price. All right, I'll take it. I'll take it. We never really interacted with the 50 SMA to the downside on the monthly, but if you go over to the weekly, we sure as heck interacted with the 200, and we're looking to potentially clock in resistance on the 100. That'd be very nice. 7 hours, 11 minutes for a weekly close. Does it close below the weekly 100? Does it fall next week and find support on the time weighted average price? Or does everything slice right back down and it just goes down, 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 straight down? No, nothing ever goes straight down. But the whole point is that would be a nice expression of resistance. Now, that's not too constructive because we've had suppressions of resistance before. Let's zoom in right here, for instance. Now, interestingly enough, maybe we consider these the head and shoulders now. And this is somewhat of a head, and then maybe this is printing a shoulder. We have another head and shoulders. Shoulder, head structure, shoulder. Maybe in any regard, I think certainly an expression of resistance on this weekly 100 combined with the the head and the shoulder patterns. um, I would say overall things are starting to further support down being the direction. What was the title of today's stream that I put in? I put in, will price go up or down? The answer to all the questions everyone has ever wanted to ask. Will the price go up or down? Oh, I think on this chart, I think the price will go down. I think the dollar become cheaper to purchase. One of the most important things in capital management is being able to flip the script and talk about things in the atypical way. How often do you say I have to go out and purchase dollars? How much does a dollar cost? This is a little bit of a digression, but I highly encourage you to do that. That's how you take a look behind the curtain, here behind the curtain, to see how the system works. Definitely remind yourself to talk about dollars in terms of purchasing. I remind you of this as we're looking at the dollar index, and that hopefully we want the dollar to become significantly cheaper to purchase in the future. And that kind of composition in the market significantly affects capital flows, cross currency, as well as lending, credit, and debt markets across the globe. Curve sitting just barely on 26, things flat, flat as a pancake. Nothing really to mention new here. That's about it. No other significant outperformance technically. Um, no real yield other than this is the new thing that I'm playing with, and I think it's a big deal. I'm curious. Look at our breach, our financial contract and trust with Tapioca today. It's very disappointing. So that is a real consideration for every protocol. Um, so your entire portfolio has a risk profile associated with it. It's very important to always recognize that. Anywho, let's go back over to Bitcoin and I'll ask a couple questions. DCA man, what do you think of the fact that Tap had only one wallet with ownership permissions? I would like to know your thoughts about that. Disappointing to say the least. Am I too critical? Am I going to overthink things? No. There's no recourse no matter what. So there's no point in fretting over taking or not taking an action or thinking or not thinking a thought. Serenity now. There's absolutely nothing I can do about it. Obviously, we'll be following the Discord channel to see what the hell's going on. After seeing so much investment in audits, it's frustrating to see this type of management by Tapioca ownership contract to a single address. Yeah, I don't know how to explain any of what has occurred other than it's disappointing to say the least. And obviously, I have had and continue to have a high opinion of the contracts being built. This is the vesting contracts, which means it was like literally um, violated, uh, not in a core fundamental way. It's a relatively trivial way that the protocol was violated. That's what's probably most unfortunate and frustrating about what's going on. That helps. Basket ad, dollar flowing reversal in bond market following 50 basis point. Go figure, maybe pricing in Trump win and subsequent hawkish lean. Hawkish lean, Trump win, Kamala win, 50 basis point cut. Uh, it's the Fed. It's the Fed of now, and you know it. It's the yeah, Fed of the now. Fed. I don't know. Whatever it's doing, it seems like such an arbitrary thing to ask, in my opinion. Hawkish, bullish, pricing in. All I know is they printed a $500 billion in October, and the deficit spending was blowout this month. And the only explanation for that is really they can't let the system deflate. Because if it wasn't for government employment, the employment numbers would be a catastrophe. So I really think that I think this is patchwork where the government has come in as the employer of last resort and clearly as creditor of last resort in a disinflationary environment where the banking rules have been adjusted to really crack down on things like credit and debt and financing of those types of things in order to get inflation under control. And just like with COVID, they over freaking reacted and have made an absolute shit show mess of things. Um, Working on lagging indicators. When those lagging indicators kick in, how mass can potentially be quite disturbing to say the least where things are heading. Anywho, where we at? Where's my chart? There it is, 68,842. I like what I see from a Bitcoin perspective. Oh goodness. Here. Okay. Uh, Keep an eye on it today. The most important thing I could ever teach you guys about markets is to relax, is to woosah, is to not fret, because that, no matter what, is an enemy. It is not something that you can rely on for quality information. Not something you can make a good decision on. It's useless other than for fight or flight. And are you going to stand up from your computer and run away. No, you're not going to stand up from your computer and run away. You're going to dig in. You're going to be comfortable, calm, cool, collected. It's the most important thing. So in the meantime, this Bitcoin price indicates a weird zone. It's coming. It's all a matter of time. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of time. Look at the debt construct. The amount of debt they have to print between now and the end of the year just to finance the bullshit that they already spent money on. Market's going 100x by 2030. There's nothing anyone can do to stop it because otherwise, you got a lot of septuagenarians and octogenarians that go bye-bye and are gonna die because they're billionaires. All those very large, ultra wealthy 70, 80, 90-year-olds. Insane. So that's not something they're gonna let fail. Insane. Anyway, I hope that thought was remotely clear. Not everything I say is entirely clear. Up, y'all? Missed a few live, but been watching all, sirs. Tapsies in the house. Much a pleasure. Always a pleasure. Yen under 150. Look at that resistance, 50 on the weekly. That's interesting to see. Interesting to see. Nothing else to take away from chart data. We covered it all. Close, as you can see, I got nothing left on Ramses, unfortunately. Output from Niles disappointing to say the least, and it is even worse on Clio. So whatever there. Whatever, whichever is clever. Anywho, I think we could keep it short and sweet. Y'all could relax for the weekend. I know a lot had capital allocated to Tapioca, so as much as I can encourage you to relax and not be upset about what has occurred, um, I certainly can understand if you are upset about what has occurred. And in many regard, I am upset as well. It's a big ding in my total net worth, and I don't. I think they recover. I think something occurs. Certainly, something will occur. Plan of action. It would make no sense to not deploy what they have been working on. So I think that's the most important thing that I'm thinking about right now is how do we get from where we are to an actual functional deployment and what steps are needed. Um, that's the name of the game. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining Friday, October 18th at 11:58 a.m. We'll keep it short, about 30 minutes today. Why not? We always go long form and make them super long. All right, we could be reasonable. We could be compressed a little bit. Plus, the captain's got to go get something to eat. Been a long morning. 132 people made it to the end of the stream. I appreciate each and every one of you, and because you stuck around, you are that much more rational, especially heading into what could potentially be a crazy weekend, considering the way the Bitcoin chart looks. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. We shall see, and we will reconvene on Monday to talk about how it plays over the weekend. Until then, stay rational. Peace.